One of the most interesting things about working for yourself, doing project work for clients, is the variety of the work that you get. I just love the fact that I don't know from job to job what it's going to be about, what industry it's going to be in, what kind of technical skills I need to build to be able to complete that project. It always keeps me learning and growing, and it keeps things interesting. No matter how boring a project might be, there's another one right around the corner and maybe it'll be interesting. It's a whole series, usually of interesting projects. And if you get a boring one, it doesn't last for very long. So I love that aspect of contracting, doing project-based work. But the counterpoint to that is it's quite important to, in the midst of all of those differing projects, to find your niche that you're really good at, to be able to bring that expertise to people. Because as you're looking for the next project and the next project, as you're out there promoting your services and trying to find someone that wants to work with you, it's going to be a lot easier if you've got a specific talent that you're bringing than if you are just generally saying you can do anything that they want done. It's sort of the jack of all trades, master of none sort of problem. It's possible for us as engineers to have skills in a lot of different areas, but it's difficult to be really good at a lot of different areas. And it's also quite difficult to sell to customers the idea that you're an expert in something if you do 100 different things. There are probably a couple of things that you do that you are really good at, that you have a lot of expertise in. And it's a great idea to take those and really lean into those as your expert knowledge that you're bringing to the market, because you're going to have a lot more traction with customers if you're going after those kinds of jobs and reselling the same kinds of services that you've already got a proven track record for being an expert in. It doesn't mean that you can't do things that are a little bit more interesting and off page than that. There's still plenty of work, plenty of variety to be able to be found inside of a niche that you carve out for yourself. But you'll be able to charge more money hourly for what you're doing just because you're going to bring more expertise to it. Quite likely, you're also going to come to that project with a lot more pre-made solutions, perhaps code that you can reuse, techniques that you've developed that are good for that niche, that you come to the project with that in your back pocket and you're ready to just jump into the project and be a lot more effective than someone who is that jack of all trades that's trying to move into your niche. So as you're competing against other resources that are out there, having a particular expertise can be extremely powerful. The other thing about having a niche is that a niche tends to be a little bit more durable in the market because there's a segment of other people that are looking for that. They're in that niche as well. So you're going to get inside a group of people, a crowd of customers that are going to be often interacting with each other. They know each other. You're going to be able to get recommendations easier, rather than, say, if you write software for a bank, they're not probably going to refer you to some medical company to write, even if it's similar software underneath, because they're not in communication with each other. So that's the power of a niche, an ecosystem of people that make up a little market that you can penetrate a lot easier if you're coming in with a specific skill set. Having that gives you a lot of power and gives you a lot of opportunity. It is very important, however, to make sure that that niche is big enough to be able to supply what you're going to need for ongoing work. You can't choose one that's too small, where you're going to run out of customers if there's only one or two customers that need that particular thing because it's so highly specialized. That's a problem on the other side of just being too narrow. So there's always that balance. It's also possible for you to kind of specialize in multiple niches that are, especially if they're kind of adjacent to each other. What we do at my company is we do interfacing with electronics and bringing data into the computer and having the computer control actual real world interactions with electrical devices. So that isn't specific to a market that can work in lots of different industries. The way we've specialized that is we are experts at LabVIEW, which is a programming language that's really good at that kind of interfacing. And it's also promoted by a large company, National Instruments, that's had great market penetration in that market segment in a lot of different verticals. We tend to specialize in aerospace because of where we are. We also have done a lot of medical applications. We've worked in other industries as well, but in all of those, we're coming to people as experts in LabVIEW and data acquisition and control. So that's sort of the niche that we've carved out for ourselves, and that's been very successful over the years. But it's also very tied to LabVIEW and someone else's product. So that's got its own dangers associated with it. That's not all that we do. We do plenty of other solutions. But as we're talking to people in the market, that's usually the entry point where we make a connection with them, because that market is so well defined by National Instruments that's been out there pushing LabVIEW for 30 years. So it's carved out a specific space that we can work in and that we can bring our expertise to and sell to people that are already looking for that service. Look for what that is for you. What is your expertise that you already have? What are ways that you can hone that expertise to get better and better at delivering higher end solutions in that same space? That's how you're going to be able to grow and be able to find an increasing, never ending supply of customers. Drill down into that niche and really mine it for all the connections that you can find in it. And it can be surprising how many interconnections that you can find and how many ways that you can take what you're already an expert in and apply it in so many different places. And that's the power of finding a niche, and why that is one of the most important things to do. It will give a lot of power to your business and a lot of runway for you to find projects to really build your business on.